Last changes are going to come down for these players, but the game plan, where are we headed to? Do we start purple straight away, or do we opt to go right into a full clear?
This is Edward's second game on the Sora. I played it on the 15th of January against Team Spirit and won.
Here's with the stats. Early to mid game for Alter Ego looks really good. The mid to the late game potential is where it falls for Aurora. Broken walls again. Game number 4. Will we go to another game number 5? Or will the Northern Lights fly into the upper bracket finals to meet Selangor Red Giants? They lead 2-1. The Alter Champs going wild for their hometown heroes. And now it's time to go wild for Trex and Mirko.
What's up, guys? Trex, Mirko still here.
Stop.
Bringing you in this in-game action. You know, Aurora Gaming brought us to match point, Mirko. But if there was a draft that could tie things up, I feel like this is it for Alter Ego.
Absolutely. Alter Ego got a lot of the things that they wanted in the draft here. They went for the trades here and there. And honestly think, hey, it's a perfect setup for Yazuke on a Fanny. So far, I believe it's still at 100% win rate. And I literally just scrolled on TikTok earlier to find Yazuke with a Chad jaw. It's a kind of a meme, you know, the Sigma male light's gonna be taken down by Yazuke on the Fanny. And the caption says, "Me when I get Fanny." So that's perfect right there as he gets first blood.
Beautiful timing, and you know, the panel was worried about the Farza. They were worried about the draft of Aurora PH in the first half.
Oh.
And it's true, how do they deal with this Fanny? And my guess was, we try to steal buffs, we try to get aggressive, but they're already falling behind on that. And if they let Alter Ego just continue this type of momentum, it doesn't really seem like there's a chance.
And again, RP is back on the Granger. A lot of people will probably say, you know, the Granger is horrible against the Claude, which I agree. In normal cases, it is. But if you're good at the Granger, every matchup works. All you need to do is stay level against your opponent. Don't get too crazy with it. And then later, as your team wins, you start getting those Sky Piercer stacks. I think that's exactly the route that RP is going to take. In this game particularly, I think for the most part, Swiss stage as well, we've been seeing more purified Grangers, right? This is finally a Flaker Granger, so he's expecting not to be the threat. He's expecting to be the Shadow Striker.
Exactly. The thing is, Aurora Gaming has their hands full with the Fanny already. They have something else that they have to deal with. For me, the Granger just kind of feels like insurance for mid to late game, some possibilities. If Yazuke is able to distract them and keep all eyes on him, then Arfi can just kind of farm for free. Arfi can get to that point where he has the opportunity to pop off as well. On the side of Aurora Gaming, though, I think a lot of this is going to come down on Light holding the front line, along with Edward getting these stuns, you know, putting the stiff arm out against Yazuke.
Again, RF doing a really good job in the lane. Feathered airstrike instant. Crimson Beacon. Hijime will not allow himself to get poked, but then he walks back in range to get poked. Shadow Stab Beacon coming down as Nino's going to be fully stunned up, and he can't use the second part of it. Yazuki coming in with the cables, doing a lot of damage over, and he gets locked down. He gets Demon Kite, but he falls, and Edward
gets the double, looking for a triple. Yue going to back off. Turtle still up, though. Alter Ego. They're starting to fall down. They might get the kill on the Light here, though.
And they will. It's Alec who picks up the kill, and we are back to 3-2. A big fight, and honestly, with how Alter Ego were in that position, with how they were holding that position, I feel like that was an Aurora win.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt like it. I think it still could come down to who gets this turtle in the end. We're sitting at almost, we're past the 3-minute mark, and it's still first turtle on the map. Both teams trying to recuperate. And I got a feeling we're going to see another big fight coming up.
No purple buff on the Fanny, though. That's going to be big. Aurora Gaming Philippines have that hold. And this is where the Fanny starts to lose steam. When you get killed when you have a purple buff, or when your purple buff gets stolen, now you have to be very, very clean with it. Alec with the G-Kuno, the way to Dragon, lock him down. Nino goes in for the stun as well as Yazuke gets stopped by Light. That's Demon Kite getting away as the Crimson Beacon gets used by Hijime earlier to escape, but he's so low.
Nino got the bravest fighter. Edward dives in.
Goes into the back. Oh, gets rid of Hijime. Goes to the skies now, but Nino's still there. Oh my goodness, that damage. Still pushing on the damage over on towards Nino. Turtle coming out for free as Yazuke goes and secures the purple buff. But Aurora, now they have the lead.
Blade of Hephaestus does lock in for Yazuke, but all that work just to make sure you get a purple buff. And Aurora Gaming, and this is the pressure that we wanted to see. Oh, Alec, trouble.
Goes for the way the Dragon is able to find an angle now. Yazuki with the cables. Went through Demon Kite, but the Revitalize It's just too much healing for him to deal with. Blazing duet with the BMI. RP spaces perfectly, doesn't panic, and Domeng has the back.
Okay, so we're starting to get some creep up for Aurora Gaming PH. We're seeing the positive uses of this Hylos getting the heal for the team, making it hard for Yasuke to get the finishes. And at this point, Alter Ego, do they continue to hit the gas? Do they start to look for little pickoffs? It's a tough spot. Once you get pushed back like that, you lose a turtle, you take some deaths. Now we're kind of having to regroup. Luckily, the gold lead isn't crazy. Luckily, I still feel like it's a pretty tie game, and the opportunity is there for both teams. Taking a look at the items, Dreadnought does lock in for Edward, but now he's going to move into a little bit of damage, so kind of a hybrid build in that EXP lane.
Yeah, I think to answer your question, take it slow. Yes, it gets really frustrating when you have this kind of composition and you don't get the early lead, despite getting first blood, but you still have pretty good mid game, right? You are going to be hitting those power spikes. Granger is on the way to the Sky Piercer, so RP, Hunter Strike straight to the Sky Piercer, second item, wanting to have a little bit more pressure in lane. The Hunter Strike obviously gets him a bit more safety in the team fights as well, getting more attack speed as whenever you get the fourth hit in.
All right, so Alter Ego, you know, you talked about them waiting, and I do feel like the Fanny, everyone always puts it in the bag of, oh, you have to pop off early. But it's surprising how much damage a Fanny can still do in the mid game, the 8 to 9 to 10 minute mark, and here he comes!
You see with the cut through, Yasuke gets the kill, but it's gonna be traded back as Demon Kite and Light take him down. Pops in Revitalize as well. Now it's gonna be Alec looking for G. Who no? Crimson Beacon on the way to Dragon now with the Lantern Flare picking him up. It's gonna be the last shot from RP to take him out, and Light now is all alone. Is a Bravest Fighter stun landing on Light. It's a turret juggle from Alec. RP gets a double right as he buys Sky Piercer.
And did he get the Sky Piercer in time? I know, yes, he did, so 2 stacks into it already, and that's what we were talking about with RP, the possibilities that even if Yasuke falls, he can pick the pieces up.
And it's a retry used on purple when the turtle is up. You know what Alter Ego want to look for. It's not objectives, it is brutal team fights that they want to go for. Chaotic as ever. This is the Alter Ego we got to see in the playoffs of MPL Indonesia.
So Aurora Gaming approaching these fights from here on, they need to know we can't use the whole package on just Yasuke. We need to save something for Arfi. We need to make sure that we can deal with Hijume as well. Alter Ego, to deal with that, need to kind of layer these fights, need to come in at different timings, and that's what they did in the last one to win things out.
That was a good bait earlier there. Glorious Pathway coming down as well. Phantom Steed not used yet, but Edward had to back away. The airstrike coming down now. Trying to poke him down. Nino's going to be chunked by Edward. He goes in onto Hijume now, but he's able to flick around, but that's a lot of damage from Edward. Now it's Nino with Bravest Fighter.
And a Phantom Steed able to shred through. Can they get it? Arfi with the shutdown.
Alec getting the way of the Dragon Peels for the team. And now it's Yasuke cutting the horse down as the turtle will be next on the chopping block. Light walking up, but it's Yasuke who takes the turtle as Domeng gets a trade in the mid lane with a turret.
Arfi 4-0-3 already. We're entering the danger zone for Alter Ego. And look at the top side as well. Nino pushing in. Alter Ego taking a full spread approach to the map right now. Malefic Gun locks in for Arfi as well. The damage is online.
Trex, Alec was a lifesaver in that fight. They went all in. Now Alec's gonna go for the Jikundo again. Right as the turret spawns, with the Dragon locking the boy down. Blazing duet of the BMI, but Yasuke comes in! Under the turret, gets the cables to get away!
And Edward is trying, but it's just not enough. Alec goes down, Edward does find the kill, but he's gonna pay the price.
Nino with the Bravest Spider straight into Arfi, going unstoppable, picking up the rapid boots, and Alter Ego again. They do not care for objectives, they do not care for structures. What they want is to brawl, and Aurora Gaming Philippines are giving it to him. Yasuke!
He's a monster. Under the tower, 1v1, jungler versus jungler. At this point, Aurora Gaming is trying to fight back. They're looking for little moments, but I think they need to go on the defense. They were able to catch them off guard in the early game, but now the power spikes are here. They need to look for more responsive plays instead of meeting Alter Ego Esports head on. Taking a look at the items. We're still waiting on that Holy Trinity from Domeng Kite. We're still waiting on a second item for Yue. The damage dealers just don't have the damage yet, and a Leo Mort is normally something that can help control the early game, and since he has died as well, Aurora Gaming is stuck playing catch-up. Lord's gonna be coming up in just a few seconds, and in my mind, I don't think Aurora Gaming should try to force the fight on it.
I agree. I think they have proper amounts of wave clear to deal with the Lord. But having said that though, are we really sure? Because all they need to do is bait out one stun. Now they're going to go in on the turret. Oh, so much damage over the domain cap, but Edward jumps into the back line. Nino going to be able to take the turret, but Wallach again! He's able to find the way to Dragon as RV gets peeled, and now he goes for the monster kill. The Phantom Steed used by Demon Kite, and now Alter Ego will go straight for the Lord.
Edward has to hit the brakes. He has to calm down. This is what I meant. Aurora Gaming, yes, I know they weren't trying to force a fight, but they could have just walked away from that engage from Alter Ego. Even if they lose the tier 3 in the mid, it would have been better than what happened now.
I said this when I was casting MPL ID, but it just felt like every time Alter Ego played, it was so messy. And it wasn't just them, it was their opponents too. Nino goes for the stun, BMI away from Domeng. And to finish the point earlier, Alter Ego just have a way to force their opponents to play a messy game. I don't know what it is.
They bring the worst out of other people.
They bring the worst out of other people, and that's what you're seeing, Aurora Gaming. This isn't the thing you would see from them usually, especially the form that we saw them using to beat TLPH. They were clean, they knew when to take the risks. Domeng had to be MI out. That's a free tier 2.
And Lord hasn't even gotten to the base yet. They're going to be able to make some holy defenses pop in the mid side as Lord creeps down the bottom. You know, we said it, Aurora Gaming has the ability to defend. They do have things like the
Feathered Airstrike.
They have the Feathered Airstrike. They have the clear. They have the shred with Doming Kite. They don't need to force anything.
The thing is, though, they kind of do, because when Nino's up in front of you like that, you have to do something, and it's a Feathered Airstrike that you have to pull out. It's sometimes even the Blazing Duet for Domeng to try to shoo these guys away, but once you use those resources onto the frontliners, onto these guys who are constantly up in your face, Yazuke walks up, or rather, he flies in.
I gotta say, though, losing one inhibitor still feels kind of like not a too bad of a loss of what could have happened.
Absolutely.
But Aurora Gaming, don't go out there. They need to stay put. This is exactly what Alter Ego wants at this point. So let's look at the stacks, 60 stacks on the Sky Piercer. Level 14, Arfi is just a pick artist at this point.
Feathered Airstrike coming down, but look at Yazuke. Lead with the cables, trying to feint, trying to waste some of the resources, but Aurora did not bite.
Okay, so Alter Ego still playing it slow, but they're trying to bring the worst out of Aurora Gaming right now. They're kind of playing the outside rims of the base, hoping that somebody bites the bait. It's gonna be 55 seconds till Lord. Does Alter Ego go for the stall in the lanes, or do they just keep on pushing in here?
I think they go for the stall. They can't afford to give Aurora Gaming Philippines enough resources for their comp to finally work, because yes, you do have a Fanny. It's going to be very, very troublesome for Yue, for Domeng to actually get into the good positions in team fights, but still, you don't want them to get their item power spikes, because then it relies on you not making a single mistake on a Fanny in the late game, which is way easier said than done, brother.
You know, I got to say as well, Edward, earlier on, when he made that big play that he paid the price for, you still saw the damage from him. You saw the capabilities. So, as you said, when those item spikes do come in, if Aurora Gaming is able to do something like that, when they can actually get kills into the backline, it could be detrimental to how they win this game if they can turn things around here. So, Alter Ego, 3 seconds for Lord, looking for position. Look at the top side, Nino. Looking for either a possible gank or a push onto this top tower while the rest of his team secures the Lord.
That was also the position he was holding in game number 2 on the Sora when the team was leading. That ultimately was a throw from Nino. But this time, Aurora do not show their faces up top. Maybe actually just Domeng. Nino gonna be chased down. The Lord already taken by Yazuke. And that's it for Domeng. He goes back to the BMI, and now another siege. Every time you see him with the cables, man, you just don't know. Red tree. But this time it is Demon Kite who's the one who secures the orange buff.
Arfi with the range right now. Taking a look at the items. Arfi is maxed out at this point. Yazuke looking for a 6. He does pick up the brute force breastplate for a little bit of defense there. A 2,000 gold lead over Demon Kite. And Yue, I think that's been the major problem right now for Aurora Gaming. He's got 2 items in right now.
And it's not going to be looking good right now as they crash into the base. Nino looking for the angle now with the Bravest Spider as well. As that's going to be light knocked up. Oh. That's Yasuke! In the background of the cutthroat finding the Forza. That's a shutdown though as Leomore gets to pick up Edward.
Doman Kite as well, trying to get some free shots with the Blazing Duet.
With a nature from RP. Now he goes for the gun down on Demon Kite. It's another shot into the midst of it all as Demon Kite's able to space away. A double for Demon Kite. Lord cleared up. Nino holding the fort. But Aurora somehow defend.
Not somehow, they do it well, they do it cleanly. Yes, Yasuke gets the kill, but they quickly take him off the map. Arfi hangs out a little bit too long, gets chipped down low, is forced to leave the base, and then the beautiful Blazing Duet to push them away as well from Domain Kite. Aurora Gaming, I don't think there was a better way they could have defended that.
And now, it's the big question mark to Alter Ego. You have the stacks, you have the lead, you have 3 base turrets. Do you still want to brawl? Because this is finally a comfortable spot for Aurora to be like, yeah, we want to do what we've been doing all throughout this game, but this time it should benefit us. You shouldn't be brawling. We should. Glorious Pathway to Shadow Stampede. That's Arvin caught!
That's huge. In the backside though, Yue goes down!
Ijume still kiting away now, popping in the Lantern Flare as Alex is able to escape with the Helmet Immortality. Somehow Yasuke buys the Rose Gobidia and escapes, but Nino is all alone. Can he survive this? That's gonna be so much damage from Domain Kite on him, and Nino will fall to light.
And Yasuke is nowhere to be found. He had to go back to base. Aurora Gaming, though, they don't push anymore. They're going to go back to their own base. They're going to defend. We got 2 members. We got the winning number on that last fight.
They want more. Alec, wait. Purify out from Domain. Now the body. Yasuke goes in with the nature. Perfectly timed. No panic from Domain. Ice cold.
There's no waiting in the land of Dawn. There's no pausing. At this point, Aurora Gaming has checked the boxes. They found their timing, and they're the ones who want to brawl. They're the ones who are forcing the fight because they know, listen, we have no inhibitors. We have nothing to defend.
Exactly.
We have to try to force a fight and get this next Lord.
And this is the adaptation, the improvement that we've seen from Aurora Gaming Philippines. What we've criticized them in the past for being too systematic, being too safe. Now they pull the trigger when it matters.
It's only the last Lord that matters. One Lord to rule them all.
Now the cable's coming in now as Demon Kite is able to get on the horse. Shizuke will lose on rapid refusion. Demon Kite and then Domain with the Blazing Duet in the back, a little bit of crowd as well. That's him down. Alec taken out. It's going to be RP next to Paul and Hijume.
Edward's trying to do something here. He's able to get some final damage. Nino wants to get away. It's him and Yasuke against the world, but he can't survive.
Yue takes him out, and now it's just 1. They got a big Lord in the mid lane crashing down. Wave in the bottom and top lane pushing towards Aurora. Yasuke, can he do it?
That's a hard bill to sign. Yasuke against 4.
Let's see it. Yasuke with the cables constantly down. The Glorious Pathway will slow him out as that's going to be Yasuke stunned up. And it's Domain who kills Yasuke. Aurora Gaming Philippines secure top 3.
Just when all